There is an apocalypse in the city of Jakarta. While the flood swallowed Jakarta as a whole, Ryan did not move from his bed. Not because he was frozen in fear. Not because he was injured. He was watching Vivi Recap. He had been watching for 6 hours straight. At some point, the Wi-Fi cut out. That is when he finally looked up. But this was not the beginning. Let me take you back. 3 weeks before the flood, before the chaos, before he lost his last pair of clean underwear to the rising water. Back to a Tuesday, when the only thing drowning was his bank account. Ryan worked at an environmental NGO. His job was coordinating mangrove restoration across Indonesia. He understood coastal erosion, tidal patterns, and how root systems absorb floodwater better than most engineers. He had read every climate report published this year. He knew Jakarta's flood cycle was accelerating. He had the data. He had the knowledge. All he did not have is just the money. At 32 years old, Ryan had mastered a rare skill. He could explain the complete nitrogen cycle of a mangrove ecosystem, calculate the carbon offset of 10,000 planted seedlings, and still not have enough in his account to pay for his own iced coffee. But Ryan had a way of looking at all of this and shrugging. If the world ends, he once said to his friend Bagus, at least my debt dies with me. Bagus laughed, but Ryan was not entirely joking. 3 weeks before the flood, Ryan sent a worried message in his group chat. Ryan was worried about the impending flood and tried to warn the group. Soraya replied with a laughing emoji. Vanya said, bro, you've been saying that since 2019. Shilda sent a message about Dr. Shiba. Bagus replied, should I cancel my appointment with Olis? Ryan typed a longer explanation. Cited research papers and news. No one responded. Honestly, he expected this. People never listen until the water is already inside their living room. He had seen it in every climate report. He had also seen it in every Vivi Recap video. Ryan had no money, but he had something almost as good. An unused credit line. Shopee Pay later still had 4 million rupiah available. He had been avoiding it. More debt on top of debt felt wrong, even for him. But then he thought about it. If the flood really comes, who is Shopee going to collect from? The fish? He planned to max it out. All 4 million rupiah. It was the first time debt actually made him feel smart. In Vivi Recap, the protagonist fills entire warehouses. They buy 100 boxes of instant noodles, 50 boxes of canned meat, industrial generators, titanium security doors. However, Ryan bought what he could. He will buy everything he can from the 4 million rupiah credit from Shopee Pay. 8 packs of Indomie, 2 bottles of water, 1 pack of sanitary wipes. Ryan also bought some Relx vape pods, because if the world was ending, he was not doing it without nicotine. And fruit, a suspicious amount of fruit. Mangoes, durian, kalengkeng and others that was on clearance. He looked at his supplies. In Vivi Recap, this is the moment the protagonist smiles in satisfaction and says, this is enough to last a year. Ryan looked at his counter and said, this might last 9 days if I skip breakfast. He then ate 3 mangoes immediately, reducing it to 8 days. That night Ryan had installed a solar-powered generator and a water filtration system. He lay in bed and watched another Vivi Recap episode. And somehow, that made him the calmest person in Jakarta. It started on a Wednesday. The rain came harder than any forecast predicted. Within 6 hours, the first floor of Ryan's building was underwater. Within 12 hours, the power went out. By noon the whole city is underwater. The group chats also exploded. Soraya sent 14 voice messages in a row, asking if anyone had extra rice. Olis tagged Ryan directly. She asked, Ryan, you said this would happen. Do you have extra food? Ryan screenshot his message from 3 weeks ago. The one no one replied to. He sent the screenshot with no caption. Sometimes silence says more than words. Then he typed, I have some mangoes left. But honestly I already ate most of them. Now it was day 4, and the condition was getting worse. There was a knock at Ryan's door. It was Kanara, his co-worker who dressed like he was sponsored by every outdoor luxury brand in existence. He stood in the doorway completely dry. Even his hair was perfectly styled. My floor is flooded, Kanara said, adjusting his jacket. Can I stay here for a few days? Ryan looked at Kanara's Solomon boots. They were waterproof, rated for extreme terrain, and cost more than Ryan's monthly rent. Then he looked down at his own feet. He was wearing rubber sandals from Alfamart. Sure, Ryan said flatly. Welcome to the shelter. We have Indomie and existential dread. Within 1 hour, Kanara had reorganized Ryan's kitchen, complained about the water pressure, and asked if there was a way to get oat milk delivered during a flood. Ryan stared at him. In every apocalypse, there is always someone who refuses to lower their standards. Kanara was that person. His shoes alone could have fed Ryan for 2 weeks. By day 5, the neighbors noticed Ryan's apartment still had light. Someone had seen Kanara charge his phone using Ryan's portable solar panel. Word spread quickly. A knock came. "Do you have any extra water?" a woman asked. Ryan gave her 2 bottles. He did not have much left, but he gave what he could. She thanked him. The next morning, 4 more people knocked. By evening, 7, they were no longer asking. They were expecting. Ryan was not surprised. He had read about this in every climate disaster case study. He had watched it in every Vivi Recap video. And he had seen it in real life, in the communities where he planted mangroves. People share when they have plenty. They demand when they have nothing. And the person who gave first is always the one they come back to. Not out of gratitude, out of habit. He stopped opening the door. It was not selfishness. It was math. He had supplies for 1 person for 8 days. Then Kanara made it 2 people. Then the neighbors made it 0. "You can't save everyone," he said to Kanara, who was moisturizing. Kanara looked up. "Obviously. But you can save your skin." He held up a bottle of La Roche-Posay Anthelios Invisible Fluid Sunscreen. "Want some?" Ryan said no. On day 7, Ryan noticed something. From his window, far in the distance, where the coastline met the edge of the city, the water was different. It was calmer. The current broke against something. He squinted. The mangroves. The same mangroves his NGO had planted 2 years ago. The ones he had coordinated. Those roots were holding. The water was being absorbed, slowed, redirected. The neighborhoods behind the mangrove line were less damaged. He did not say anything. He just sat there for a long time. Ryan had spent most of his life feeling like nothing he did mattered much. He joked about death and the apocalypse and wanting it all to end. But right now, in the middle of an actual disaster, the thing he built with his hands was still standing. Quietly doing exactly what it was supposed to do. Not asking for credit, not asking for anything. Sometimes the people who care the least about their own survival are the ones keeping everyone else alive. He opened a mango, his second to last one, and ate it slowly by the window. On day 9, Bogus arrived. No one knew how. He somehow crossed 4 flooded blocks carrying a plastic bag containing his phone, a charger, 2 packs of instant noodles, and 4 face sheet masks. "I brought supplies," he said, holding up the bag like a trophy. Ryan looked at him. "You walked through a flood for face sheet masks." "Self-care is survival," Bogus replied. He walked in, took off his shoes, and sat next to Ryan like the world outside was not underwater. They did not talk about the flood. They did not talk about survival strategy. They watched a Vivi Recap video on Ryan's phone at 12% battery. On day 12, the rain slowed. By day 14, rescue teams reached the building. Ryan, Kanara, and Bogus were evacuated together. As the boat moved through the receding water, Ryan's phone buzzed. He looked down. "Shopee Pay later. Your payment of Rp 4 million rupiah is overdue. Please pay immediately to avoid additional fees." He stared at it. The city was half underwater. The infrastructure was destroyed. Thousands were displaced. And Shopee still wanted their money. He laughed. Not a big laugh. Just a small one, barely visible. The kind of laugh that only comes from someone who has always known the world is absurd and just got proven right. He got another notification. Opened the group chat. Ginza said, "Bangkok is still happening." Donis asked the Grow, "Are you all ready?" Ryan just looked into the sky with a bit of teardrop. Ryan turned 32 during the flood. No one remembered. He did not remind anyone. He ate his last mango alone by the window at midnight and said to himself, not bad for someone who was supposed to be gone by 30. The mangroves held. The debt did not go away. The hair did not grow back. But he was still here. And honestly, for someone who never expected much from life, still being here was more than enough. Happy birthday, Ryan. The world may be ending. But at least your roots are strong. Even if your hairline is not.
Thanks for watching till the end. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to support Vivi Recap. See you in the next video.